What's going on, people, and welcome back to another video today. And we've got our player versus player, long overdue this one, Saka versus Raphinha. Raphinha is the player that when he was at Leeds I wanted Manchester United to sign when we were looking at Sancho. I've always been a fan of Raphinha since he came into the league when he was with Leeds, and yeah, I was gutted that we didn't get him because I think he's always been underrated and we could have done with him at the time. And obviously he went to Barcelona, he's doing great things. I wish him all the best, but I miss watching him in the Premier League anyway. And Saka, a player I didn't know about at youth level until he broke into the first team and then with England and stuff. The mental fortitude and strength he's shown over the years, even though he's really young still, shown that he's got the mental strength and he's got better. And he continues to get better. So I think this is going to be a really good matchup. I only have one stat for one of these categories this week for this, so it is completely up in the air. I don't know how it's going to end up. Let me know your thoughts and your categories and your decisions in the comments. Let's get into it. Passing, first of all, just your general pass, like the completion rates and success and just the ability to play a good pass. They're both right wingers, obviously, so they're not going to be in the centre of the midfield being like a Kevin De Bruyne, but they're both capable of passing. I think Saka rarely gives the ball away. I think Raphinha gave the ball away a bit more, but he took a bit more risks with skills and more audacious passing. So for passing, I probably would edge it to Saka because I feel like he's a bit more reliable in terms of the completion rate. He's a bit safer. Creating and assists, this one's up for debate because Saka, I think, is underrated in this aspect. I think he offers a lot from delivering balls into the box and he scores a lot. He's probably a bit more two-footed than... It's a difficult one, this. I think I remember Raphinha at Leeds with the balls he would whip in from different angles, at different speeds, different heights. And Saka can do that too. I don't watch Raphinha now other than if it's a Champions League game or I randomly see a highlight for Barcelona with him or Brazil. But I think I would edge this one to Saka, even though I think Raphinha is very good at it. I think Saka is a bit more reliable and will give you better numbers over a certain period of games. Crossing, difficult one again. I think Saka is underrated in this aspect, creates a lot for his team and for England. And I also think Raphinha does as well, so I would actually edge this one to Raphinha. I think he has a bit better technique in terms of giving that whip to the ball, and the pace of which he plays it and the accuracy. I'd edge the cross into Raphinha. Goals is the only one that I've got stats for this time. Saka has got 55 currently and Raphinha has 69. So I think with the goals, even in the next year, I think Saka could reach that 69 mark that Raphinha's currently on. And he's younger than Raphinha. So I definitely think in the next year or two, it'll be above that mark anyway, Saka. But just giving it on in terms of respect and the totals they both have currently, I've got to give it to Raphinha. Next up, we've got dribbling. Now, another hard one because I think Saka is a very good dribbler and I think Raphinha is a very good dribbler. I think Saka keeps hold of the ball better, but I think Raphinha offers you a bit more unpredictability, but also more on the attacking front because I think he can do things that Saka can't. So it depends what type you're looking for with this. I think if you're looking for someone to rely on more over games, I would go with Saka. But I think Raphinha has a little bit more star power in terms of what he can do beating a player and easing pressure off his teammates at times. I'd probably edge it to Raphinha, but I could see why people would also say Saka. Acceleration, both I think very fast. Both have pace. I honestly don't know. We might have to come back to that one because that, off the top of my head, I don't know. Bravery, I think they're both brave, to be fair. I think what I've seen, though, and you see this a lot with South American players, they have a little bit more fight and just don't mind putting their body on the line as much as other countries, I think. And their willingness to win and determination, they will die on the pitch if they need to. And I think for that reason, I think Raphinha edges it in the bravery aspect. Aggression, it's a tough one. Neither of them I look at as aggressive players, to be honest, even though what I've just said about the bravery. We come back to aggression because, again, I'm not sure yet. Athleticism, Raphinha is obviously he's a bit more gangly, but he can cover the pitch in less strides because he's got longer legs. Things like jumping ability, power on the ball, and acceleration and stuff. There's really little to choose between the two, I think. We're gonna have to come back to this one too. I don't know right now. Influence. This is just how important they are to their team, what they bring to the table, game in, game out. Much as I like Raphinha, and he can definitely be a huge influence on a game, I don't think he pulls it off and is consistent as much as Saka is. So I'll go with Saka for that one. Teamwork. Again, I think Raphinha is very good at it, but I think Saka edges it because I think Raphinha is a bit more selfish at times and wants to go and score that worldy goal where he beats about 3 or 4 players, which Saka can do also, but I think Saka is a little bit more about his teammates than Raphinha is, so I'll go with Saka for teamwork. Flair, for me, it's Raphinha. I think, obviously, Brazilian, he's that typical old school Brazilian. He reminds me of Ronaldinho. I know he's very close and has a really close relationship with Ronaldinho, and you can see it in his game. I miss watching him a lot. He's probably one of the players I miss watching the most, even though he's quite recent, for what he did at Leeds. And I was gutted when I heard that he was leaving, even though he plays for a rival. I said how much I wanted us to sign him at Manchester United. It didn't happen, but he's one of my favourite players to watch in the world just because of how he plays and his style and that Samba style. So Flair is an easy one for me. Raphinha takes that. Agility, I think they're both very agile. I don't think there's a lot to choose between the two. I would edge it to Raphinha, but it's hard. I could easily give it to Saka too. Awareness, I don't know. It's tough again. I think I would edge it to Saka for awareness, but you're picking between nothing really. Interceptions, I've seen them both good at this. Probably edge it to Saka for interceptions. Technique, I think they've both got fantastic technique, whether it's free kicks, passing, long balls, short passes, penalties, corners. But I do prefer Raphinha for the technique. Free kicks, I know Saka don't take a ton of them, and I know Raphinha probably takes more. I would edge it to Raphinha for the free kicks. Just similar to the technique thing, I just prefer his style for it. And then strength, not a lot to pick between the two again. I'd probably edge that to Saka, to be honest. I think he is deceivably strong for someone his size. He's not the biggest player, but I think he's deceptively strong. So going back to these three as well. So acceleration, tough. They're very fast, both of them. I think in terms of dribbling with the ball, I'd probably edge it to Saka. But off the ball, I don't know. I think both on the ball and off the ball, it's just, there's nothing to pick for it in between, like, to separate them to Saka. Aggression, we'll edge it to Raphinha, I think. I feel like he's a bit more fiery and a bit more up for it in terms of having a fight if you need to. And then athleticism, a combination of things, explosiveness, speed, strength. I'd edge that to Raphinha, but not by a lot. So let's mark it up. Passing, Saka, 1-0. Creating an assist, Saka, 2-0. Crossing, Raphinha, 2-1 Saka. Goals, Raphinha, 2-2. Dribbling, Raphinha, 3-2 Raphinha. Acceleration, Saka, 3-3. Bravery, Raphinha, 4-3. Aggression, Raphinha, 5-3. Athleticism, Raphinha, 6-3. Influence, Saka, 6-4 Raphinha. Teamwork, Saka, 6-5 Raphinha. Flair, Raphinha, 7-5. Agility, Raphinha, 8-5. Awareness, Saka, 8-6. Interception, Saka, 8-7. Raphinha, technique, 9-7. Free kicks, Raphinha, 10-7. And strength, Saka, 10-8. It's very close in the end. I didn't have a clue how it was going to end up. As an Englishman, I'm sad that Saka's lost this, but it's not by a lot. And as I said, some of them you could change it around and give Saka the win over Raphinha, but it's just ended up this way for me. I'm a huge fan of Raphinha, but I'm a huge fan of Saka also, so there's no bias in this for me. That's how it's ended up, and that's why I love doing these videos, because I don't know myself how it's going to end up. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Tomorrow or later tonight, but tomorrow at the latest, probably before like 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm going to be doing my preview for tomorrow's game for Manchester United versus West Ham in the FA Cup last 16 knockout. I'll be honest, I completely forgot about that game. That's why there's been no preview. So we'll be doing that either later tonight or tomorrow. It will be there before the game. So that's going to be dropping tomorrow. Premier League predictions will be coming again. So watch and stay tuned in. Give a thumbs up on the videos. It helps the channel grow. Appreciate everyone supporting. Share it to your friends if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe yourself. And let me know in the comments, guys, what you had for each category, who your winner was and by how much. Appreciate everyone that's leaving comments and showing support and love. Saka 8, Raphinha 10. I'll see you guys soon.